What's good, guys? It's ICS. And of course, you know the Super Bowl is coming up this weekend as we got the Kansas City taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be hosting the Super Bowl in their home stadium for the first time in NFL history. Um, there's a lot of things we can talk about. Of course, we got Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, both defenses, Spag Magnolia, and Todd Bowles. They've already played one time this season, but the game is going to be completely different. It's not going to be close to the same kind of game. The Super Bowl, there's a lot more mistakes. Tom Brady can't have them turnovers. They're going to cost more, even though they're going to cost more. So, and then when I look at this, is no hate towards Brady, but when I look at the playoff games he won this playoff run, Washington, the Saints, and Green Bay. Only one game there's only one game that Tom Brady won that the defense ain't really step up. Tom Brady won the game without the defense. That was Washington. Tom Brady flat out won that Washington game. The defense wasn't there because Heineke was making plays. These two games, that Tampa Bay defense won. It wasn't about Tom Brady. It was not about Tom Brady in those two games. It was about them defenses. Defenses getting 4 turnovers on the Saints, and the defense only allowing 6 points off on them turnovers that Tom Brady had. That's the game. That's what it was. It wasn't Tom Brady lighting it up and then, oh man, Tom Brady's just not. That's not what it was. And Patrick Mahomes is only Patrick Mahomes. This offense, they're gonna need to get to 30. Patrick Mahomes has only scored under 26 points in 2 games. So, I believe Brady has to be completely on because Mahomes is going, and Mahomes in that offense, they're gonna get hot. And how can you stick with them and go back and forth and back and forth? Because when they get hot with Watkins, Robinson, Kelsey, Hill, Hardman, what you doing with that? When they get hot, it's over. Mahomes is gonna make every single play that he needs to make. It really, to me, the X factor is what can that Tampa Bay defense do? I told you them shootout days are over. Them shootout days are over. I told you. The Green Bay game wasn't a shootout. It was them holding on to the second half. That's what it was. Holding on to what they did in the first half is them holding on to that for the rest of the game. It really wasn't a shootout. It was never back and forth in that Green Bay game at all. It was them holding on. I believe Mahomes in that same 3rd and goal situation that Aaron Rodgers tried to pass it, I think Mahomes runs and scores a touchdown. He's a really smart player. Mahomes has a chance to already have the same amount of Super Bowls as Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Joe Big Ben in his this is going to be finishing his 4th season, I believe. Because he said, yeah, it's going to be finishing his 4th season, 3rd season starting, and you would have 2 Super Bowls. Maybe 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 1 MVP, and 2 Super. Yeah, that's going to be a really impressive resume. Brady, yeah, I believe if the Bucs win this game, it's going to have to be about the defense. It hasn't been about Brady. Yeah, it's been. You want to know? People talk about Brady. Oh, that Brady came and he instilled the biggest difference between Tampa Bay last year with Jameis Winston and Tampa Bay this year is their defense is way better. Their defense is way better. Tom Brady had 3 interceptions in the playoff game. That was typical Jameis Winston in Tampa. But what's the difference? Their defense actually shows up. They didn't really show up last year. They had spots, maybe a game or two, but not like that. I guess Tom Brady's not the DC, so how can you give Tom Brady credit for making the defense better? He's not the DC. But when it comes down to the Chiefs need to execute. No field goals, touchdowns. Do what the Chiefs always do. They need to get touchdowns. You need to get touchdowns. Don't get too happy. You have Le'Veon Bell. You have Williams to run the ball. And Allaire. Try to run it. You don't have to throw it every single down. you could run it. And then on defense, get after Brady. Tyrann Mathieu has the best ball skills that I've seen in a player in a long time. So he's like Ed Reed when it comes to that. Tyrann Mathieu, you need to make some plays. You need to make that one interception to change that one interception. If Tyrann Mathieu gets an interception, yeah. So the offense just score touchdowns. When you get down there, score touchdowns. For the Chiefs on defense, get them in long situations. Force them to get holding penalties. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, get pressure on him. Force them into long situations to where they have to where it's long. It's not short. They can't just dink and dunk. They have to force Tom Brady to throw the ball down the field and take the running game out of it. You can do that by putting up points, but take the running game out of it with Tom Brady and take out the dink and dunk. So when they have to get big chunks of yards, because that's not. I know he led it. And that's not their offense. They're trying to dink and dunk and then hit you over the top. Force them to need to hit you over the top. That's what you need to do. And for the Buccaneers, I'm gonna start your offense. Your offense, you can't turn it over. You cannot turn it over and milk the clock. You want to keep Mahomes' offense off the field. So one, don't turn it over, milk the clock, score touchdowns. That's number one. Your defense, you're going to have to get pressure on Mahomes with 4. If you blitz Mahomes, it's not going to work because your secondary isn't good enough to hang with anybody who is catching the ball. Even the running backs, your secondary isn't good enough. I like the 4-5-4, Levante David and Devin White, but don't blitz them. You need them in coverage. On Kelsey, Hardman, Hill, Watkins, Robinson, and yeah, don't. You need to get pressure on him with 4, so then you can sit there and still play coverage. If you can't get pressure with 4, I know he's playing. I know they have injuries, but if they can still scheme and get blocks and put him on the move, so he's not just sitting back there with being a statue. That's not what Andy Reid's going to do. And that's defense. So that's the takeaways for me. That's what I believe that both teams need to do. I'm gonna say my prediction. I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this game. I'm gonna take them 35-24. Because they're great. The Chiefs are great. They're gonna be back-to-back champions, I believe. And we're gonna be talking about how great Mahomes is. Because everybody looks at the Chiefs and we look at them in the back half of the season. They're this and that. Look at that Buffalo game. That's not even the same. That offense is ridiculous. That offense, that don't even make no sense. So I honestly believe they can switch it to a different level in the playoffs. They switched it to a different level. This offense is going to get 30+ points. If you don't get 30 points, you're not beating this team, unless somebody gets hurt. That's that simple. You need 30 points to beat the Chiefs, or you're not winning. Respect to Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's not going to win this game. It's going to be Tampa Bay's defense if they win. Kansas City offense can win the game, and their defense can win it. I like Swanson. I like Matthew. I like Chris Jones and Frank Clark. So, and they have Alex Okafor on that team too. It's going to be a really good game. Like I said, I got the Chiefs 35-24. Would I be surprised if Tampa Bay win? Maybe. It just depends on how it plays out. The Chiefs, if y'all back-to-back champions, y'all think y'all could probably go. Let's not get too ahead. The Super Bowl right here in Tampa Bay. You went in there again? Go in there again and win that Super Bowl. I'm going to be rooting for you. Tampa Bay, if y'all win, be the first team to win their home Super Bowl. Give Tom Brady 7 rings. Let's see what happens.